old school's first raid, the Barrows brothers. There's really not a whole lot that's required for Barrows brothers. Main thing is just to bring your best mage spell. I'd probably not recommend farming them until you at least have Ivan's Blast, but I'm just going to use Firebolt. Also a Dragon Scimitar to switch to, that way I don't use runes while I'm within the tunnels getting the melee kills. I'm going to also bring an emergency teleport, which is also how I'm getting here. The Ring of Dueling to reset stats at the end, runes for my spell, and just some extra food. If you don't have a Dragon Scimitar, feel free to bring whatever you have for a melee weapon. Other than that, I would recommend 37 Prayer to be able to use Protect from Magic, and ideally 40 to also use Protect from Missiles. I'd also recommend at least also having the Shades of Morton teleport available from your grouping tab. The teleport will bring you to Morton, that way you at least can just run to the east to access the Barrows brothers if you don't have a better method of getting here, but you are limited to 3 trips an hour. Otherwise, there are teleport tablets. You can use the Mauritania legs if you have those. Also, the Berg de Rot Ramble is a decent method to get here from up at the Patadermis Temple. Just use what works the best for you. And if you happen to be like me and you forget a spade every single time you come here, you have access to 2 of them in the sheds right at the entrance to the Barrows. Let's get into the run. Everybody has their own preferred route for the Barrows brothers. This is just mine. So if you happen to use the Barrows brothers plugin on RuneLite, it'll mark all of their tombs up on the mini-map for you, as well as highlight the final puzzle, which we'll get to in a second. But without it, you have your melee mounds on the outside, and then coming straight in from the entrance, mage, and range. If you happen to bring an extra range equipment switch like this guy here, go ahead and put that on and take on the major. Bring my prayer down to 37 to match up with anybody at my suggested minimum requirement, and let's dig a hole. It'll spit you right out into the tomb. Protect from mage, click the tomb. Attack the boss. Just keep trekking on through if you happen to run out of prayer. And when he's dead, climb back up the stairs. Reason I would recommend a range switch on him is because he will negate your melee offense stats. Head straight south, go ahead and dig a hole to fight Carol the Ranger. We're in melee gear, he will hurt, but that's why we have backup food. Search the tomb and take him on. Most I've seen him hit is about 20, so just keep your health above that. And go ahead and leave the staircase as well. And now at this point you might be panicking because you're out of prayer as well as out of food, but we'll move on to the melee brothers. On the top right, I usually take on Dharok first since he hits the hardest. Go ahead and search the sarcophagus. Most of the time the Barrows brothers usually spawn by me. So click the coffin and click into the middle on the other side. If he's on the edge, that's fine. You're trying to get him pinned on the long side of the coffin. And now comes a little trick. Inside of your settings, inside of controls, you'll find control click to invert run mode. You can have it set to never, walk to run only, run to walk only. I keep mine on always. What this does is right now I'm running. So if I click over here, it skips the tile for the run, but if I hold control and click, it makes me walk there. In between knowing control click movement, as well as casting from a spell book, is 1 tick faster than auto casting. Zoom out enough to see the coffin comfortably. Since I have my run turned on, we want to click the spell, hold control, click the boss, and once you see the magic XP drop, aim for the opposite side of the coffin, that way you run that way, and then click onto the other side where Dharok is currently standing. To see this in action, spell is ready, hold control and click. Once you see the magic drop, release and click to the side, and click to the opposite end. He's pretty easy to get set back up in a safe spot. If you're on a popular world, I would recommend waiting until they are gone to be able to perform the kill, because otherwise you're going to be clicking on them. Since it's lightening up a bit, we can go ahead, hold control, click the boss, release, click off, and to the opposite side. Spell, hold control and click, release, click off, and run around. It feels a little complicated at first, but gets much easier once you get used to it. Almost at the end of the Dharok kill, but the reason we want to do the control click on the cast is because if we don't, instead of only stepping one tile over to cast the spell, we actually run 2 tiles ahead, and we will be guaranteed to be hit on each one of those, and potentially mess up the safe spot. But if you control click, you only go 1 square. And with that last cast, Dharok is down. I'll just move straight south and go on to Guthan, who is going to be an exact repeat of what we just did for Dharok. Dig into his grave, give him a check. It looks like he's my tunnel. So if you have him in the room, he is going to be a carbon copy of the fight we just did with Dharok. However, Verac and Torag are just slightly different. So this is going to be the same thing. Enter the tomb, search the sarcophagus, and just run to the opposite side to try to get him into a safe spot. The same exact idea. Cast the spell from the book, hold control when you click them, except this one, instead of running all the way around, they have a little bit of a different pathing method in their coffins, so when you click them, control click and just click to the opposite corner. And he'll stay for some reason. Control click, next side's corner, and if you mess it up, don't worry, just put him right back into a safe spot. Control click, see the spell, see the XP drop, and click off. Control click, XP, click. Control click, XP, and click. Don't ask me why you can do all 4 sides on Verac and Torags, because I honestly have no clue why they can, but Guthan and Dharok are not able to. We'll wait for him to get out of my clicking position, and keep moving on. Torag's down, on to Verac. Just how Guthan and Dharok are the same, Torag and Verac are also the same. Wake him up, get into a safe spot, click the spell, control click the boss, click the next safe spot corner. Spell, control click, safe spot on XP. And we'll repeat this one again until we have Verac dead as well. And since you'll probably have your agility drained by Carol also, if you ever need to restore your run energy for this tactic, feel free to just hang out. As far as I've found so far, the Barrows brothers do not respawn, unless you leave. And there goes Verac as well. I can't stress enough that you shouldn't really try to take on Aram or Carol, the mage or the range brother, until you have enough prayer to successfully go through them in each trip. You can safe spot the melee brothers. You can't safe spot those two. Now on to the tunnels. Again, I use a melee weapon in here just to not use rune casts. Your best percentage is about 88%. Some people will say to fight 3 skeletons. I like to do 2 skeletons and 1 of the bloodworms. We'll get bloodworm number 1. And here's a good time to teach about the safe spots. You can use the ladder in the corner rooms to be able to block enemies behind them, and you can cast through it if you want to. And if you notice, the ladder is sitting on a very smooth square in the middle of the corner room. Kill the skeleton as we move. But you can even get a feel of kind of where the ladder would be in these rooms, which is again, that plain square. Even though the ladder isn't visible in the room, it is still here, so you can still use it as a safe spot if need be. So ideally, we want to try to get our brother in the tunnels to spawn in one of the corner rooms. As well as if you zoom out and look in the center room here, use your mouse to hover the doors. And the one that says open is the one you're trying to get to, the other ones are not your entrances. So let's grab my second skeleton kill while we're in this room. Use your ladders to your advantage if you need a range or mage through them to stay safe. Now I keep auto retaliate off so that way I don't accidentally gain more potential. And we're heading over to my door and looking for the bright arrow to point out where our brother has spawned. And in the best case scenario, he'll spawn in this room. Which he didn't, so we'll find him. Just keep dodging back and forth into the doors up until your brother will spawn. If he spawns in the wrong spot, go into the center room, walk away for a minute. He'll despawn and just keep trying. Well, we can't find him here yet. So let's try to go through this door and see if we can find him on this side. There he is. Let's run to the other side of the invisible ladder, pin him in place, switch over to our mage gear, and just attack him. We'll quickly throw on the spell on autocast, that way I can sit back and relax. And since we're getting low on our health, as soon as he is dead, run through the door into your entrance into the middle. Again, we have the Barrows Brother plugin, so it'll highlight the answer to this puzzle for us. Just click it, click through the door, one more time, into the chest, search it, and from this screen, teleport away. And we're back to safety. If you don't have the Barrows Brother plugin, don't worry about it. The entrance puzzle into the tomb room for the chest is pretty simple. There's only 3 of them. They always have the same answer. They move in position, but the answer is always the same. Restore our stats over at the pool, and then grab some more food out of our bank. The other main tip is that if you've done your combat tasks up to at least tier 2, you'll be given access to Gommel's hilt too. While you're wearing the hilt, it will completely negate the prayer draining effect that happens inside of the Barrows. And that's really about all there is to it. Since it's early content for the game, the Barrows Brothers are relatively simple, and if you just take advantage of the safe spot for the Melee Brothers, any account can do them to start progressing. And as always, have a good day, you guys.